Hello, everyone. Whoever is joining in, I hope you are all are doing great. Uh, I'm very excited today because I have my special guest with me today. Just to start, welcome to Security Pulse. Security Pulse is a go-to podcast channel for you guys. Thank you for all the support that you have been given to us. For those who are tuning for the first time, let me give you a brief, a brief insight to what Security Pulse is. So we are proud and honored to be the telecom security channel where we talk about not just cybersecurity stuff, but we also talk about emerging technologies. We bring in the concept of zero trust, and we are a one-stop shop if you are looking for security boot camps specific to telecom, to the zero trust security, to Web3. So we cover different sort of industries. We provide security like consulting work. We do assessment. So we kind of like a one-stop shop for you. If you're coming from the emerging technology space. So today topic is a really special one. We'll talk about the RAN transformation, as well as we'll go deep dive into the cloud native world. And I'm very thrilled to introduce my dear friend, Ibrahim Syed. He's been the most followed 5G expert that what we are seeing in recent days. He started his career from Egypt, working in Nokia, working in Huawei Technologies, and then he moved to Saudi Arabia, where he has joined Accenture as a cloud technology manager. And the best part about what I like about him is that not that he's just progressing like wonderfully, mashallah, in his career, but he's also like giving the knowledge to others through his different podcast or different social media engagements. His posting of like my friend, when to explain the ideas, has been followed by lots of professionals, and he's been now one of the best 5G influencers of recent times, and apart from like working in social media, like talking about technologies in social media, excelling his career, he's also been well renowned expert of the telecom space. So I am very pleased to have Ibrahim with me. Welcome, Ibrahim, to Security Pulse.
Thank you, Taha, and another thanks for these nice words, which I really appreciate so much. Thank you so much.
No, it's been great to have you, and so to I've been closely following what you have been doing, and seriously, if I need to refresh my concepts, what I do is I usually go to your post, and I find your post very insightful, and the way to how you transform or make people understand complex topics with easy to narrate language. It seems like this is the go-to thing for me. So like congratulations for doing this, and thank you for that. And you've been helping lots of folks, not only in the telecom space, but whoever is non-telecom who wants to understand cloud native technologies, like what is radio access network. If they want to just out of curiosity, if they want to learn, they like follow you. So it's been great to have you. So starting off, I mean, I want to first start off with your career. That you are originally from Egypt, yeah, like the land of pyramids. You started your career there. So tell me something about the early phase of your career, that how you got into telecom, uh, and then moving into telecom, excelling in your thing. What you do, how did this idea came into your mind that, hey, I want to start something of my own, with this my friend journey. So tell me something about that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Taha. Let me say that the starting of my career was difficult for me because I was graduated in 2003, and then I joined the military to spend 1 year there, and I finished my military by December 2024. And I started my first job in January 2005, and then it was with an ISP. Actually, it was in the network side, I was looking for something in the telecom, but at that time the market in Egypt was saturated. There is no a lot of opportunity, so I started with an ISP, a big ISP actually there, and I was CCNA certified, and I planned as well for CNB as well because this is the most usual track for anyone who is working in the network field. But then I realized I need to move to. I want to work in telecom. It's enough for me working like that. I worked with one ISP, then I moved to another ISP as well, and this whole journey was around maybe 1 year and 1 month, 13 months or 13 or 14 months. Then I was working in a bigger ISP, the biggest ISP in Egypt, with a big salary. Then I decided to leave all this and move to a company, a very small company. People there are not exceeding 10 persons and with a salary which is less than what I'm taking with by almost 66% less. So let me say if I'm taking 3x and I went to the other company with 1x. Of course, half of my friends called me crazy and the other half called me I'm a mad guy. So I understand the point of view at that time. If I'm leaving a big company and a big career and for and a big salary, a big position, a promising one for something that's much less. I understand this point of view, but let me say I was very, very passionate about telecom, especially radio planning and optimization. This is my passion, and I need to work on that. I didn't feel myself in network. So although I
Mm.
have some achievements there, and my friends tell me you're doing very good. Yeah, I was promoted, and I was planning to have some promotion. So it was something good, but no, this is not what I like. This is not what I want my career is. And here, please, this is just let me say an advice because I'm receiving a lot of messages from a lot of my friends on LinkedIn asking me that I'm spent 1 year here, but I'm afraid to go to another field because I lose this 1 year here. Yes, maybe you will lose 1 year here, but it's not a loss actually because you will use it sometime in the future. Okay, but you are speaking about maybe next 30 or 40 years. So you are losing next 30, 40 years for a year only or 2 years. It's not comparable at all. So if you need to make any change and you believe it's the right way, okay, do it. After that, this company I was like a trainer for GSM, GPRS, DMA, OMTS. So I was a full-time trainer. And at that time, I discovered I was a good trainer. Actually, they told me that I was a good trainer. I felt shy explaining things to others. How can I do that? How can I deliver the message in a proper way with good terms? But I was happy. I discovered this gift from Allah. Actually, at that time, then moved to another company working in commissioning, and then moved to Huawei to work in the radio planning and optimization. Then moved to Nokia Egypt and then to Saudi Arabia. Work also as well with Nokia for one of the biggest operators in Saudi Arabia. And then to Germany with Umlaut to work as senior 5G RAN expert there. And I work with a lot of European operators, a lot, and worked in different fields like Open RAN, private networks, cloud, green networks, many things actually is there. And
Mhm.
then I was relocated again to Arabia with Accenture after making acquisition to Umlaut as cloud network technology manager. And this is my whole journey till now.
Exciting, exciting, man, exciting. So, in this journey, if you want to tell us about a pivotal moment that, hey, for example, you mentioned a very good point that, hey, I was not happy with what I was doing earlier, so I joined from a big company to a small company. And you mentioned also in that, hey, you were initially was struggling for trying to explaining your ideas, but then you discovered yourself, and people praised you that, hey, you are doing great, so you pursued that. So in those transitions, what made you, like, first of all, think that, hey, I'm really good at this? Is that the praise from others, or you discovered yourself? And secondly, what is that change, or what is that thing in you which have made you decide that, hey, you have to just start this thing right now? I mean, you are good at it and you just have to start it.
Okay. let me say that even after finishing the military service, I was decided to work in this field, the telecom, and specifically radio planning and optimization. And so I got a lot of documents and started to read by myself. Even when I was working in the ISP, this was some work in shifts in the night shift where there is no work. I will start to read and study by my own. I was
Mhm.
reading in my own time, my spare time. So I was fully enthusiastic for this one. So
Mhm.
when I found, that's why I was. It's good to ask people about their opinion, but sometimes you realize this is the right way. You realize it, and when you realize it,
Mm.
and you have a good knowledge to work on it, and you feel also the idea is but not everyone is passionate about something. Go to it and do it. Okay, it's not like that all the time. But I was preparing myself to work in this field. This is first. Second, I will see this field is evolving in the future. It's not a dying field. No, it's evolving. A lot of things are there, and every 10 years there are new technologies. So why I'm not being there? And because I like to read, I like to read new technology and
Mm. Mm.
see it.
Mm.
So I found myself suitable for such a field, for such an industry. So
Mm.
I tried it, and along the way, you discovered a lot of things in yourself, like
Mm.
the gift of delivering messages to us to others. Because I really I didn't think that I can do it at the beginning, or maybe I'm not doing it with the same amount of appreciation I received at that
Mm.
time. Because even at that
Mm.
time, we
Mm.
was delivering some trainings for a lot of guys, and some guys
Mm.
even moved to the program which I'm delivering because they found themselves understand a lot and hear from their friends that I'm very, very good at it. So it was something very
Mm.
good for
Good.
me, actually.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
found it
So
in
I
my
just nice, nice, nice. So I want to take these 3 points from your journey and explain to our audience that hey guys, I mean, there's a lot of questions which also comes to me that hey, what should I do next, or how would I find my passion? So there is one thing which is your passion. If you want to switch, for example, telecom. In his case, he mentioned about that he liked telecom. But the important thing is this: as long like so, if you like something, but you have to be prepared for that as well. So you have to do your homework. For example, before getting into telecom, he was reading all these things, that what is radio networks, how what is RF optimization. So you have to prepare yourself of your passion, where you want to go to. And secondly, you have to be very consistent to what you are doing. You cannot just hit and trial, do just hit and trial. For example, if you want to pursue like coaching and training, and be passionate about it, yes, you can do good preparation. You can match that preparation with your passion, but you have to be constantly doing it until you becomes perfect. So this is a very important thing. And third takeaway is you have to be good in storytelling. So it's about like this art is such a crucial thing, because it will help you in your presentations, because in your work you will be delivering your message to your boss. You will be maybe doing a presentation to the business, right? But if you know how to deliver the message, you will be well taken care of. You'll be welcome, and your thoughts would be also welcome. So this is something which I want to like take away from your journey, Ibrahim.
you're most welcome. I totally agree with you about what you said.
Yeah. So now moving on to something which is technical for our audience. I mean, it's about the rise of cloud and telecom. So if you think about cloudification in telecom, for me, I think it has come slightly late. If we compare this with a traditional like IT technology, because cloud technology has been there for like years now. It's been a decade, like more than that. But in the telecom space, it has come slightly late. you know so first of all, what's your opinion on this, that hey, why the telecom industry has taken cloud technology a bit late? you know uh, 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 and secondly, what has bring to the telecom world, like moving on to cloud, apart from efficiency, reliability, like cost part, but what is the most uh, important thing that like which the telecom industry has received from getting into the cloud technology?
Okay, let me agree with you. Cloud came late, little bit actually, not little bit late, too much late actually to the
Yeah.
telecom industry. AWS, Google, and Azure, these solutions. started a lot and was for enterprises only. But let me say, when the cloud as a concept, as a beginning, was invented, even it was mainly for storage purposes, more for these enterprises, not for processing and doing all these workloads. And when cloud started for enterprise, let me say it was not having all these functionalities and all these services they have now. For example, AWS, they have more than 200 services now. When they start with a very few services for their customers.
Mm.
So step by step evolve even for enterprise. Let me say the boom was transferred to the telecom when operators decided. Some operators actually decided in 2012 to
Mm-hmm.
have such an architecture of cloud in their network. All
Mm-hmm.
because usually in telecom we have these big devices, appliances like refrigerators, all these ones when you are putting in the core network and connect all of it. Every operator has his own data center and connect all of it together. And maybe if there is any issue in one of it, or you need to expand or increase the capacity of any of these servers, it takes a lot of time to get the cards which will install here. If
Mm-hmm.
it's in the warehouse, if it's not in the warehouse, even you
Mm-hmm.
need to get it from abroad. It will take time, maybe months actually, sometimes 6 months, 9 months, even sometimes more than that. This for us a normal, a small cards that will be installed in the server. For the whole server, it sometimes maybe
Mm-hmm.
take 1 year, something like that. So it takes a lot of time. So when they decide
Mm-hmm.
actually to take such an approach to make it, and then they deliver it to Etsy to start,
Building
building.
the standards, yeah. Mm.
Yes, put the standard actually,
Mm.
and this is another problem actually, because from telecom handsets
Mm.
we use always a standard. We use the 3GP is a standard for example, you have a standard for 3G, 4G, 5G. You take the standard, the vendors will implement. The cloud is not like that. Completely different. It is putting some standard actually, but it's not. Let me say the standard sometimes coming late after the operators are implementing their own solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Even you will see when you see the cloud solution in different operators, no one solution fits all. Different solutions, and even in these solutions, they have to test every time how the solution is working, how it's done, what is the performance, what is the weak points, how can we improve it, etc. So from cloud, let me say from the standard point of view, it's a different. Many times the standard is coming late for the implementation, and so operators are trying to make these solutions, and so that's why even they start with the cloud, with the core network actually, not the RAN. RAN, it's very late. They start with the core. Core is much
Mm.
easier. Locations
Mm.
are very well known in areas, and so they can have all the cloud advantages you spoke about, like scalability, flexibility, zero downtime, all these features just in something like that. This is what teleco will get actually from the cloud, if of course implemented in their premises. And most of, as you know, most of the MNOs now are moving from even the legacy or the monolithic solutions
Mm.
to
Mm.
the virtual machines one, or even the containerized one. Maybe
Mm.
the ones who are, or even if they are in the virtualized or using VMs, they are now moving to use containers
Mm.
or
Wow.
CNF. Actually, yes, it's cloud native
Mm.
solutions, not virtualized one now. And
Mm.
that's why what is good at RAN, they learn it from this one and directly move to containers. No VMs. It's very rare to find
Mm.
a vendor
Mm.
now providing a solution
Mm.
for RAN based on VMs. Directly go to containers. Containers, as you know, it's cloud native solutions. So they
Mm.
didn't
Mm.
pass, they didn't go through this step. They skipped this step, learn from what is the core, and then move to it. And now we have see a lot of implementations, what's called cloud RAN. And let
Yeah.
me say,
Yeah.
even, but let me say, because there's a very important point regarding this concept of cloud RAM. If you
Mm.
speak about any cloud solution, or the introduction of the cloud solution to any operator, we need to speak about the use case. Why to introduce it? You're not introducing for fun. Operator should get some benefits, some capex or opex
mm,
savings
mm,
specifically.
mm,
So in the core, they achieve these use cases by using the containerized solutions and doing it. For the RAN, let me say, because there's a lot of doubts about it, but let me say the use case is already there before going to it. How? For example, if you make a centralized solution for
mm,
CU and U, let me say even CU only, and this CU currently worldwide, we are in the current solution worldwide, once you can connect up to 256 cells, something like that.
mm,
Which
mm,
can be much less, can be much more. It depends on each vendor solution,
mm,
but most of them
mm,
is around this value, 256 cells. So
mm,
imagine all these cells in one CU. As per 3GPP, one CU means what? One site. So all the mobility between all these sites, it will be intra-site, not inter-site, which means better performance, better KPIs. Because in any network you work with around the world, intra-site handover, for example, success rate is much higher than inter-site handover success rate. So
true,
this is
true,
one of the
true.
so performance evolution will happen when all the resources of all these cells together in one location. So when there is one site doesn't need it, it will be in a pool. Other site needs it
Mm,
because there is high traffic or demand can take it. I think you saw this a lot. I saw it in different situations when one site is covering the stadium and the match is tonight and a lot of traffic there and there is a peak and a high congestion and the nearby site is not looking at the stadium, very low traffic, but this site which doesn't look at the stadium have the resources and utilization is around 20%. The stadium site
mm,
is around
mm,
almost 100%. And
mm,
the baseband units are in different locations, so you cannot share. If it's one location, you will share. You will have a pooling. You can do it at least for the
mm,
CU. If the DU is there as well, it will be much and much better because you are sharing the DU resources with many sites as well. So the use case, I believe it's there, but the problem for me actually, or let me say for it will be more even that's why for the greenfield operators, which
mm,
are coming in the world now, like
mm, mm,
Rakuten in Japan, one and one
mm,
in Germany, and
mm,
Dish in US. They are using
mm,
such centralized solution, and there is, let me say, like a cloud run solution there. But the problem is for the brownfield operator. The brownfield operator to create such a solution, he needs to get a new locations like data centers where all these sites will be connected together.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
start to create a new solution while he has the old solution. So
Mm, true,
he
true.
so
Two,
this is the problem
yeah,
now for the brownfield. And brownfield
yeah.
operators are much higher than greenfield operators, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There is two very interesting point which you made, and I just want to decipher to what you just said. And I totally agree with you. Two important things. One is in a brownfield operator, which are already using a lot of legacy work. They have already a lot of deployments which are already in place. They are reluctant to do something like this, to change this. And the reason what I feel is that it's mostly vendor driven. So let's say if an operator, if a, like a, as big operator as like an STC, okay, if they are using mainly Nokia, Ericsson, Huawei, like three main vendors in their core RAN, like Samsung or like whoever, they are more relying on the direction given to them by the vendors, and for them to introduce something like a cloud native technology, it will first of all will challenge them to bring something which is compatible, with different other operators, with different other vendors, sorry. And plus it has to have some sort of like a sign off from the standards as well, to what are their applications compatible with, you know uh, which is another topic, like how to get the standardized. But mostly if it's vendor driven, if it's locked in environment, they cannot do much innovation. And plus the operator are too much dependent on them, that like they don't have any choice just to follow what they need. uh, uh, so just to give you an example on this is that, for example, if any vendor, what they are using, if they are using, let's say, uh, even in a greenfield deployment, they are using mostly R16 software in their applications, and we are talking about R19, R20 now. And the reason why they are not moving towards R17, like R18 standards, is that they say that, hey, if we are using in public cloud, let's say AWS, the EKS platform is not compatible with those softwares, right? So there is, like, first of all, it's like a monopoly from the vendors. That's what I have seen. Secondly, the operators cannot take the decision on their own because it's too locked in. So platforms like Open Run, for example, or where all like different vendors can come in, the small vendors can come in. So they're challenging this silo, which has been created by the vendors, right? So this is what one of the reasons I feel that this is slightly like that. Like cloud is getting uh, slightly late into telco, but like things are evolving. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you actually, but let me mention other two reasons as well. First one,
Mhm.
also, let me say operators are limited with their own budget. Say most of the operators around the world, actually, let me say, starting from 2018, 2019, most of their budget actually was allocated for the 5G deployment. So 5G deployment for NSA even, so not
Mhm.
for SA. So we are expecting this cycle to finish, already finished even for some operators, because even this budget, it's for 3 years, 5 years. It depends from one operator to another. Some operators already finished this cycle. They have in the next cycle another budget also for 5G deployment, but not huge like the first one. And
Mhm.
so more budgets are allocated now for moving actually to the cloud infrastructure, especially in Europe and US as well. They are trying to modernize their core network. And regarding the release 16, which is working in the current networks or the current mobile networks, actually, this is mainly because, let me say, the vendors, all the vendors are working in telecom, are a little bit late than the standard. Yeah, they didn't implement even release 17. Some of it even, the most advanced vendor implement some features in release 17, not all of it. So as a telecom point of view, as a function, as a software function, they don't have even, and even for example, Nokia, Ericsson, who have release 17, need to implement the operator need to implement Nokia or Huawei, Ericsson as a solution on a cloud. At the end, what are the features and all this release are just software functions, software doing these functions. This, for example, this feature in release 17 for improving the latency. This is working with certain software code. They will take this software code and apply it over a CAS layer from Red Hat, VMware, whatever, and over a
Mhm.
code hardware from HP, Dell, whatever it is. But the problem, Nokia doesn't have the feature itself.
Yeah.
So
True.
they are
True.
late even behind this. Yes, let me say they are late, very late behind it. And this is, let me say, in the telco world, let me say it's expected. We are seeing that sometimes the vendors are delayed with maybe 1 or 2 years behind the standard, but they are evolving. They are trying to implement it, but and they will try to implement. But actually the big problem actually to do it, most of release 17 and 18, and all this will be for 5G SA. 18 release
Mhm.
18 19 5G advanced, 5G SA, not 5G NSA. 5G
Mhm.
NSA will just a temporary solution from
Mhm.
3GPP to avoid market fragmentation. Nothing
True.
else.
True. True. I
Yes,
agree.
yes.
I
To
agree. I
avoid
agree.
market fragmentation. So this solution, one solution, all the world will follow. Not to have market fragmentation like what happened in 3G and 2G before. So okay, this is good. But the real problem, operators didn't or was not able to monetize from this 5G NSA. Monetize, they
Mhm.
didn't get the return, the money, because simply they are building it, building the use case for the new normal customers, normal consumers. Some countries, by the way, or some consumers, when you are speaking with them about 4G and 5G, they will tell you, I'm not caring 4G or 5G. Speed of 4G is okay for me. His requirement doesn't need 5G. So let me say normal consumers, even it's not a big demand for them 5G. So actually, let me say the big advantage in 5G is the other two use cases in the famous triangle: AMBP, URLC, and MMTC. So MBP, the same as 4G, but URLC and MMTC, it will be for a specific uses. Like for example, of course, it will be for enterprises, of course, and it will help them a lot in their solutions. But also, it can also for special situations. Like for example, in one country there is a lot of gaming competitions and a lot of gamers. URLC case will be a very fantastic case to be done there. In one country there is a lot of smart cities, and a lot of compounds. So these compounds can use these smart solutions for the MMTC by the operators and deploy it. We didn't see a lot of deployment like that. We see some partial deployment, but this is what operators should start to realize. 5G SA will have new use cases. You should take these use cases. And here is the big problem. The big problem is that take these use cases and go to the industry guys and speak with them about it. The problem is that telco guys speak with the telco mindset, speak about throughput, latency, and the industry guys doesn't understand throughput or latency. They need a solution to improve their, for example, quality of service, their errors in the manufacturing, something like that. So we need someone in the middle to fill this gap who is speaking the telco language and understand it and understand how it will be reflected on the industry and how it can be used there. This is actually what is missing till now. I believe
Let
it
me
will.
you made very interesting points, Ibrahim. Just want to touch 2 points here. One is you mentioned about the use cases, and guys, this is a very valid point. We end up just become a follower. We don't, for example, see that, hey, if this is really a need of me using 5G, or my 4G is good for me. uh, and in order to have those use cases where you can bring in monetization, you have to understand that there has to be some sort of research, R&D work has to happen. I'll give a very good example of a private 5G. So private 5G has recently kicked off, and we have seen monetization happening due to this, private 5G. And due to this, you are seeing, in terms of the use cases, you are seeing a lot of streaming platforms like Netflix, like Nvidia is becoming like their AI compute layer on it. So there's a lot of use cases which are coming in as we are moving towards private 5G solution, and hence which is giving monetization to 5G. So the point is, in order to have more use cases, you have to have some sort of research going on, plus that research work should have some sort of integration with your existing like solutions. So for example, if an operator from 4G or a 5G wants to move towards a slicing solution, you should not just directly jump from what the vendor is saying. You should have a proper use case through its research department, research and development, and they should tell them, based on the results, based on the data, that hey, now you have to move toward network slicing use case or a private 5G use case. You should not just follow blindly what the vendors are saying. You should involve different small players onto into the discussion, and let's debate to what is the real use case that makes sense for me and for my customers.
Totally agree.
uh,
Totally.
yeah, and one interesting point is about the standards, right? So even we like select a use case, hey, this is what we need, and this is how we need to do this, right? You take this to a standards world, and in the standards world, because I'm fortunate enough to be a part of those standards groups as well, while working for operators, vendors. So what I've seen is, over there you'll see a fish market going on. Everybody is trying to get maximum votes, and whoever has the right or the maximum votes will win. It's like a parliament. So they don't like truly concerned about, hey, if this is really the industry use case or something good that will happen, and what and how this can break, or how this, like, based on my opinion, how this can improve if you bring in openness to the space, which is can be seen in the Open RAN Alliance space. We have like 10 different working groups, and they are making good progress. If you think about from the 3GPP, from the GSMA perspective, yes, they are like making progress, but it's small compared to what the Open RAN is bringing in. And this has due to that you are encouraging more small players to come, and you are having an ecosystem where the industry can also participate, research groups, all those groups can work together, to explore different use cases, and you're bringing those use cases to the table with less bureaucracy, with more openness. So that's why you're seeing more progress over there. Okay, moving on, slightly like shifting gears. So in terms of the Open RAN impact and competition, So what do you think, that can we see similar like openness in the core world and in the NFE space, where we can have a lot of vendors coming in, try to give like a build a core network, or an NFVO, like for example, is that something which you think it can bring more excitement to the space?
Uh, sure. Just one point. Oran Alliance now is 11 working groups. Okay.
Yeah,
Because they moved the security from normal focus group to a working group. So security is
yeah,
having a lot of potential.
11. I think it's
Security plus.
11, or yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
So yes, orchestration actually. Let me say. Uh, from the core point of view, core is let me say core is more open by its nature from telecom point of view than the RAN itself, from the standard itself. So you can have different solution from different vendors in the core itself. And moving to an FVO, of course, you can build whatever you want as orchestrator, NVO, NFVO, or VNFM, or VNFI, different layers. Uh, you can have a lot of openness with different solutions. And as I mentioned since a while, there is no specific standard for this to build, and one solution fits all. So different solution can be there. Even you can have different orchestrators, by the way, different NFVOs. This is a feature was raised in ETSI. I don't remember, maybe in release 4 even in ETSI, to have a different orchestrator. For example, you have multi-cloud. This is another concept actually to avoid vendor, because sometimes we are hearing the vendor lock, actually vendor lock-in word in the cloud, because if you moved your workloads to this cloud solution, so you will be logged to it. But you can have a multi-cloud solution, and many, I know a lot of operators are doing that now. So for example, they have B2B solutions on cloud provider one, and the telco workloads on cloud provider two. So here there's a orchestrator, is there orchestrator, and start try to connect both orchestrators together to take advantage from both clouds together. Something sometimes they are intersect with that. So of course this can be introduced as well. So it depends on the approach the operator wants. Here, let me say from cloud point of view, the operator is having the upper hand. He can select whatever he wants and build any solution he wants. He can select any set of vendors and try to build a solution. And as you mentioned, he can even involve different or other parts like SIs, and check with them what this is the best or not, what are the best approaches in the market. For example, I know from my experience there are some for the cloud solution. So let me speak about the CAS layer. Some vendors are very good in core more than in RAN, and others in RAN better than in core. This is the real experience that you are delivering to them, to the operator, and telling them. Maybe of course you can have the same stack in the core and the RAN as you like. It's up to you, or you can different stacks based on the performance you want here. And as long as everything is all open and they can connect together and work together, no problem. So of course it will be a big step and a good step actually, and can be done based on the operator approach itself in his network.
true. Thank you, Ibrahim. I totally agree with you. So moving on, there is a, you know we live in this day and age where everything is possible with chat gpt, and there is uh, like a sense of discomfort, among the masses, that what will happen in the next 2 3 years. Will the gen AI be doing all the design work for me? Would I really be, involved in problem solving, when the AI can just, if I can just, run a script and I can have my root cause analysis, right? I don't want more triage. So uh, if you think about future of telecom, there is one place where we are still fighting and trying to still monetize 5G. There's one school of thought, one group which is trying to, I mean, move from the 4G legacy to 5G. Then we have one group who wants to launch 6G by next month. So uh, based on your view, I mean, in terms of, and there is news coming in like AI, machine learning, all those, like transforming the technology. So what do you think would be the key enablers for the operator who wants to think about future of telecom, that which direction they should go, and from the technological vendors who are providing new technologies, what are the new, like the top one two technologies, what they'll be focusing on if they want to transform and bring up more use cases in the telecom space?
Very good question, Taha, actually. And let me say it, this the nature of the world to have some networks still optimizing 2G and 3G, and other networks are trying to and looking forward for the options for 6G. This is normal, okay? And this will continue. So let me say AI or Gen AI. Gen AI is a specific use of a specific thing of AI, actually, more advanced actually. So Gen AI, just for anyone to hear, generative AI. So it looks like it's generating new things, but it's not really generating new things actually. Just digesting all the data you give it to him to whatever it is. This data is PDFs to read, sound, video, etc. All this, and then try to give you something new. So Gen AI, I believe, and AI, and let me say AI, ML, and automation. This is what operators should look for. If an operator was able to make his network, let me say, more autonomous, at more automated, it will be much better. Even TM Forum made a scale for the operators to gauge their autonomous autonomously for their network. For example, if my network is autonomous, how it's in a
Hmm.
measure from 1 to 5, and 5 is a full autonomous network, and one you are starting, 0 is manual, something like that. So it's something very very important actually to have AI and ML and automation. But the most important before AI and ML automation, again, what is the use case where you can implement
Hmm.
AI, ML, and this? Let me say, sorry, but there are a lot of use cases happening in the RAN, for example, to optimize the networks and optimize the cases you are having. So this is one of the use cases, actually. Energy saving, one of the use cases as well. Sorry, RF optimization. Now there are some tools which you give it all the database of the sites, the locations, the drive test measurements, the OSS KPIs, and also even there is the crowd measurements, and then all this is are blended together and give you a recommendation. For example, to for these sites, to tell this one, make the estimate of this one to improve the coverage and quality, etc. So a lot of things are there, and this is, let me say, AI and Gen AI and automation should help us remove the normal tasks or the usual
Hmm.
tasks,
Hmm. Hmm.
and devote ourselves for a bigger tasks, the more intelligent one. Let me say the current version of ChatGPT. Let me say, I think I don't know who said that. I don't know whether it's Matt Alleman or someone else, but he said that this version of ChatGPT is the most stupid version of ChatGPT. By the way, yeah, we are expecting a much and a higher level of intelligence actually. Let me say, there is a very famous video. This video, by the way, since 4 years, one of the vendor prepared. This is what they are expecting AI to do. So it was like that. It was a stage, and the CEO entered to the network and then was asking the AI agent, "What is the network status today?" He told it it's fine. Its availability is 99.9%. We have availability in areas 1, 2, 3, 4 due to 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are some areas are congested, which is 1, 2, 3 due to 1, 2, 3, 4. And we need to do these actions, ABC. He told them, okay, do this action, please. Then just 2 seconds, actions are implemented. So, so all this will be done in a few seconds. So let me say, I don't want to make guys desperate when they are hearing that it will take our job, but something. No, no. But try always to evolve yourself. I'm sorry to have a bad news for you, but you are working in telecom field. Telecom field is one of the worst fields in the world. Why? Because it's always evolving, and you have to keep yourself with this evolvement. You have to study all the time. You have to enhance your knowledge. You have to uh, understand the new technologies. You cannot stay in your position. You need to move. You need to move. You need to learn a lot of things as much as you can. Really, there's a lot of things around you. You cannot learn everything around you, but try as much as you can to understand more and more and build on what you have, to have a good knowledge, to be able to uh, let me say have a يعني have a career, have a job in the new future with AI. But let me say, with having such an AI, till now operators are depending on AI and ML, Taha, to get use cases, understand, but the implementation is done manually. It's done by human beings. Okay. The next step, AI and ML will do it. It will be a closed loop. So they get the case and what is the problem, and then implement it. So we should be prepare ourselves for this era and understand AI and ML, be aware about it. Also for vendors, they should, let me say, even if we go to Open RAN, there is near real-time REC and non-real-time REC. What is REC? REC is just to add intelligence to the network. Near real-time REC, its function is to take measurement from the RDU and DUCU internal from the network and try to enhance the network, add some automations, add some improving to the network. Like for example, this site is serving low number of users, so we can even move the antenna azimuth to serve this one, which is highly congested, something like that. Okay, to move the network. Non-real-time REC is much and much wider. Non-real-time REC is taking data out of the teleco completely. Like for example, the temperature today. So we know that the temperature today, for example, will be in Germany, in Frankfurt City, will be 25. It's weekend, and we know from the trends before that during this time when this temperature is like that in this city, a lot of people go to the parks. So the parks will be congested. That means sites should be able to serve well there, or we are expecting a high traffic there. So it blend data from outside the teleco completely with data from inside the teleco to give something new, some new insights. So such use cases, who will develop these use cases? Vendors and maybe even third-party companies, because now usually third-party companies should be able to drive a software functions to or features that be able to work on these RECs. It should be open. These RECs by any vendor should be open. So vendors should work on these RECs and be able to develop the use cases there and make it open to digest all the third-party applications from them. Also the orchestrators for either network orchestrator or slicing orchestrator. All this is a very, very important thing, especially when network slicing. Network slicing is one of the best use cases for 5G monetization. One of the main ways to build a private network with a very low capex from the enterprise. Enterprise will pay nothing at the beginning, but it will be OPEX. But not for capex, it's nothing. So operators should focus on this to build it. And when there is a dynamic slicing, not static like that, dynamic slicing, and we have thousands of slices, and the traffic will be shifted and load balance will be shifted to it. Who will do that manually? No one. No one can do it. Should be done by orchestrators. So also vendors should invest on this one and be able to make it as open as it can, to work with all the vendors, work with all the equipment. So AI, ML, and orchestration, and also there's the cloud solution for from the vendor point of view, because as you know now, some vendors remove their CAS layer and infrastructure and all use their software function and make collaboration with some cloud vendors. Others are not, no problem. I don't care who's doing that or this, no problem. The most important is, at the end, is the performance. What is the performance of your solution? It's better to have a collaboration with other parties. It will be much better. It means you will focus on something and you will focus on your main area and your strengths area, which is something good. If you need to make everything, okay, it's up to you, but make sure that to deliver a good solution. So all these things are let me say operators and vendors should focus on it to be able to get it. And just one extra thing for the operator, five not 5G monetization, and even let me say data monetization. Try to operators have a wealth of data. They should utilize these data. They have a lot of things. Everyone in any country has maybe not one phone, even two phones. They are aware about what everyone is doing. So how we can utilize this data to reflect it into use case that can help different companies to deliver service to them. Where is to help this customer, tell them where is your best customer, how to target this best customer. A lot of things, like a small example, just I'm giving a small example of it. When operators know, for example, that this restaurant is very busy in the weekends, so the cell covering this restaurant make some broadcast message for all these users, telling them broadcast message in the cell for all the users, telling them that this restaurant, for example, is doing some promotion, some offers, a menu, something like that to take them. When the users are moving beside a hypermarket, so the cell will send a broadcast message telling them this hypermarket is providing offers, 20%, 50% discount on what blah 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 blah, and then they can enter the hypermarket and buy these things. This use case is
Very good, very good. Yeah.
with the hypermarket. So it's a lot of things like
You
that.
have it's I loved it. You have taken us to 2040, where you have the broadcast messages going on to different people, based on the yeah, this is fascinating. So, like, if I have to decipher, uh, what you've explained is, like, first of all, like, telecom is an evolving industry, and it's a really complex industry. So whoever has worked in telecom, no matter is from the RAN side or from the core side, from the security side, from infrastructure, whatever, like, respect this person. He knows a lot of information. He has a lot of information. And for operators, just to add on to what Ibrahim has, like, I've just explained. So we should not just focus on using AI machine learning on, for example, what the Open RAN community is doing, which is making RAN more intelligent. But we should have those AI machine learning checkpoints in other domains as well. Let's say in core, in trying to get customer, like, complaints data, in trying to check what the KPIs is doing from the monitoring perspective, and try to get some common aggregation point where we have not the data coming in from the radio, we have data coming in from core, from monitoring platforms, from CRMs, and try to see what intelligent decisions we can make in trying to build the use cases. And that is where you would scale from the rest, and use those use cases as a POCs, inviting other small vendors to come and build applications for those, and trying to solve problems for those. So this is where I think the value can be added. uh, Closing in, Ibrahim, any final thoughts before we open the stage for our attendees? Any final thoughts which you want to give to our audience, your, like, future plans, or anything you want to talk about where the telecom is heading? Yeah.
Yes, just guys, again, try to focus on keep learning. This field is very tough, and a lot of technologies, and I saw are appearing, and I saw a lot of people who are not moving really with new technologies. They are stuck, and unfortunately, they lost their jobs. A lot of guys like that. So don't say I'm safe now. No, don't depend on that. Try to evolve yourself, make yourself special in your company, learn a lot, involve in a lot of things, learn many things. Your mind can digest all this, believe me, but give him the chance to do that, nothing else. So
True,
try
true.
to keep learning. And just one last thing, I'm not saying to remove all or throw all what you learned in the trash and start from scratch. Try to build on what you have, and they're very important. For example, new companies working in the cloud and provide cloud solution for the telecom need a guys who understand telecom. They have guys who understand cloud more than you, better than you. maybe it will take years to be in the same knowledge. But they don't want this. They have already the guys who are very good in cloud. They need someone who is good in telecom, RAN, core, whatever it is, now
Mm,
to add to them. So what you need
mm,
to understand, at least be good in your field, and try to add to it some concepts on the cloud, some knowledge about it. Of course, it's better if you need to take some certificates, but don't push or don't run and follow the certificates. For me, to run after the knowledge. Where is your weak point? Ask yourself, where is my weak point? Where is the areas which I need to strengthen it more, make it more strong, and improve it. Determine it and then enhance it to be able to, when you sit in interview, you'll be able to answer all the questions. No one will challenge you. Everyone challenge you. You can answer anything. You are not caring. Your knowledge is great. Try to make it like that.
very well said. I just want to add few things here. One is uh, talking about technology. He's absolutely right. I totally agree with you. And to just to give you an example, we have seen people who are constantly excelling themselves. For example, if somebody coming from the telco world, he has learned the DevOps technology, he has learned the cloud technology, like the multi-cloud environment, he has learned the automation. Now you will see a lot of jobs in the hyperscalers who are trying to find the telco guys. But uh, what they want to find is a guy who has good telco background, and he and also how he has evolved himself into a cloud, like a cloud technology, or into DevOps as well. So if you can blend some new technologies with your telco knowledge, you'll be an asset in the industry. Plus, learn, like not just focus yourself into one domain. For example, you can learn like cloud technology, automation. One evolving field is also a cybersecurity space in the telecom world, because now like, think about network slicing, where you have different operators coming in, you're hosting different operators, right? There is data privacy issues that can come in, right? You're talking about private 5G, and like an enterprise is using that 5G technology now to serve their own customers. So how that would open up some security vulnerabilities, on their network. Then you have groups working on in 3GPP and in ORAN Alliance telecom security to give some new security features ever now, like now even than before. So try to learn and get into those. And from this platform, uh, I have to announce give a teaser, that we at Security Pulse now will be starting a boot camp for 5G security. So any one of you who wants to know more information, or who wants to enroll in this boot camp, will be happy to have you. But try to, whatever technology you're learning, try to excel and evolve yourself. Uh,
Good chance. If because by the way, security is one of the most important areas. And again, this is one of my friends, my close friends, moves actually from working in the telecom to work in the security. And they told him, like, in an operator, okay, and they told him like that, we don't need a security expert, we need someone who is aware about the telecom and has the security concepts. And he's now working in the security, benefiting or building on his telecom experience. So security is really, really, really an amazing, and has a bright future, by the way.
thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Ibrahim. We'll take a couple of questions from our audience here.
Okay.
One is from Carlo Saul Perez. Hi, Carlo. Hope you have enjoyed this discussion. So what he's saying is right. Like recently, we have seen news about migrating from public cloud services with AWS to private cloud solutions. Like people are moving from hyperscalers toward private solutions. What are your thoughts on this trend? Do you think it will become a common practice, particularly for RAN and core networks?
Let me say, I believe it will, يعني, or the telco is now is going to a hybrid solution. So it will be a mix between private and public. It will not be all public, not all private. It will be a mix, especially with the introduction of AI and Gen AI. AI and Gen AI needs a huge amount of servers with a huge capacity to work on it. Not all operators will be able to provide it in their networks. That doesn't mean every operator will go to the hybrid. Maybe some operators will do it in their premises. Of course, it's okay. But let me say, they can even have a mix of private and public network. So they can run even the data, process the data on the public network to get advantage of the capacity, the service the hyperscalers are providing to them, and also and keep the private data, the privacy inside their premises. So I believe hyper solution will be the one which will dominate as next year.
Yes, very good. Just want to add a couple of points here. One is the reason why why the operators want to stay in a hybrid environment. One is the data security and privacy issue. So for the data security and for the critical information, operator wants to take the data onto its own data center. They don't want to give the data on the public cloud. The reason is if there's a breach, the responsibility is for the operator to take care of the breach. Yeah, that's one. Like the second point is mostly if you go to a public cloud, you see the path, like the platform layer, which is for example an EKS. If you are going to an AWS cloud, is usually having some compatibility issues with application that run on top of it. So and whereas if you're using a private cloud, which is operator data centers, you can have the vendors use their own platform layer, which is for example if you're using Nokia, you can have NCS for that, right? So you'll have less compatibility issues. So yes, there are incentives to be more reliable, to be cost efficient, to go to a public cloud, but there always a hybrid cloud that will happen.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay, one last question before we wrap up. So somebody having like a 3 years of experience in ORAN development in Rakuten company for Drillish, 1 currently I've done masters in the USA, looking for a full-time role in telecom domain. Can you suggest me suggestion how to get a job in the worst market? I'll take this one. So see, if you're in the US market, US market is, for the amount of layoff that has happened here, I'd still believe this is the best market. The reason being is it's like first of all, it's a very big market, right? You have a lot of options, a lot of operators, like vendors are working here. There's like multi-cloud like setups going on. One thing which you can do is you have to make your profile stand out from the rest. Okay, how you can do this? Try to see what are the skill sets that you are missing in. What new technologies you can learn and how to enhance it. First is the learning part that can help you. Secondly, try to use that learning and try to create impact, which is impact on the industry. Try to build like like an open source project. Showcase your results in your LinkedIn profile. In your GitHub repository. That where you have created value from the learning that you have gained through your theoretical knowledge. And third, try to build the use cases and see, for example, that what jobs you are targeting. Is there any skill sets that you are missing in on that job which you are targeting, and trying to like in your resume, try to build use cases that, hey, you have done this X and you have resulted in this Y outcome. So try to build some use cases and some stories around your profile, and so this will help you. So I've come down to the end of my podcast. Thank you everyone for your active participation, for coming in big numbers. Enjoying. I'm sure that you have enjoyed this podcast. Please, if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe. It will be a good boost. We are reachable. Ibrahim is very reachable. He's always welcoming, and you can reach out to us if you have any further questions. And in the end, I would like to thank you, Ibrahim, for coming into the show. It's been absolutely a pleasure for me to have you, and best of luck in your career, buddy.
Thank you so much for the chance. Thank you so much. And thanks for all the audience. Anyone is most welcome to ask me via LinkedIn. I'm trying to answer all the messages if I'm delayed a bit, but I'll answer, don't worry. So thank you so much, Taha, and thanks for all the audience. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.